As a hypertension specialist, I must warn you, this fruit increases your risk of stroke. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with that sharp, pounding headache that just won't let you rest? Or perhaps you felt that uncomfortable tightness in your chest while climbing a flight of stairs, making you pause to catch your breath. Maybe you've sat nervously in your doctor's office, watching as they shake their head with concern after checking your blood pressure numbers for the third time. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Nearly half of American adults are living with hypertension. That's an astounding 122 million people walking around with a silent killer in their veins that most don't even know they have. I've spent the last 15 years helping patients just like you regain control of their blood pressure naturally. And what I've discovered might shock you, especially when it comes to what you're putting on your plate. Because while we've all heard the standard advice about cutting salt and losing weight, there's something your doctor probably isn't telling you about one specific summer fruit that could be secretly sabotaging your heart health and significantly increasing your risk of stroke. Before I reveal this surprising culprit, I want you to know that I understand how frustrating and even frightening living with hypertension can be. That constant worry about your numbers, the handful of medications with their troublesome side effects, the way it limits what you can do, where you can go, and how you can live your life. It steals not just your health, but your peace of mind. And despite following all the conventional wisdom, your blood pressure remains stubbornly high. Today, I'm going to share with you a groundbreaking discovery about a fruit that most health experts actually recommend for lowering blood pressure, but science now tells us could be doing the exact opposite. In fact, major research spanning over 20 years and involving more than 187,000 participants found that this common fruit was associated with a significant increase in hypertension risk, contradicting decades of standard nutritional advice. This information could be the missing piece in your journey toward healthier blood pressure, helping you avoid a potential trigger that might be undermining all your other efforts. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Are you or someone in your family currently dealing with high blood pressure? What methods have you tried to keep it under control? Your experiences matter, and they could help others who are facing similar challenges. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to receive more life-saving information that conventional medicine often overlooks. When it comes to blood pressure management, knowledge truly is power. Most of us know the basics. Exercise regularly, maintain a healthy weight, limit sodium intake, avoid excessive alcohol, and eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. It seems straightforward enough, right? But what if I told you that not all fruits are created equal when it comes to your heart health? That some could actually be doing more harm than good? Let's talk about what's happening inside your body when you have high blood pressure. Your heart is constantly working to pump blood through your arteries. When those arteries become stiff or narrow, your heart has to work harder, creating more pressure against the arterial walls. Over time, this extra pressure damages the delicate lining of your arteries, creating small tears where plaque can accumulate. This not only further narrows your arteries, but also creates potential sites for blood clots to form. And when a clot blocks blood flow to your brain, that's when a stroke occurs. Every 4 minutes, someone in America dies from a stroke, and high blood pressure is the leading controllable risk factor. What's particularly insidious about hypertension is that it usually presents no symptoms until significant damage has already occurred. That's why it's called the silent killer. It quietly damages your blood vessels, heart, brain, and kidneys for years before you might feel anything wrong. By the time symptoms appear, severe headaches, shortness of breath, nosebleeds, the damage is already substantial. This makes prevention and early management absolutely crucial. I want to pause for a moment and connect with you on a more personal level. When was the last time someone truly listened to your concerns about living with high blood pressure? Not just the numbers on your chart, but how it affects your daily life and emotional well-being. Many patients tell me they feel isolated in their struggle, like no one really understands the constant anxiety that comes with monitoring their condition or the frustration of trying treatment after treatment with limited success. If you can relate to this, I want you to know you're not alone. The comment section below is a safe space to share your experiences. Something as simple as, "I've been managing hypertension for 7 years, and what worries me most is the long-term effects on my heart," can not only help me create more relevant content for you, but might also provide comfort to someone else who's feeling the same way. Your story matters, and sharing it could be the encouragement someone else needs today. Now, let's get back to that surprising fruit I mentioned. For decades, nutritionists and doctors have recommended cantaloupe as part of a heart-healthy diet. It makes perfect sense on paper. Cantaloupes are rich in potassium, which typically helps lower blood pressure by balancing sodium levels and relaxing blood vessel walls. They're also high in water content, low in calories, and provide fiber, all properties we associate with cardiovascular benefits.
However, a landmark study published by researchers from Harvard University, analyzing data from the Nurses' Health Study, Nurses' Health Study 2, and Health Professionals Follow-Up Study, found something completely unexpected. After following participants for more than 20 years, they discovered that while most fruits reduced hypertension risk, cantaloupe consumption was actually associated with a 7% increase in the risk of developing high blood pressure. This finding flies in the face of conventional nutrition advice, which typically lumps all fruits together as equally beneficial for heart health. But the data couldn't be clearer. Eating cantaloupe 4 or more times per week was linked to higher rates of hypertension compared to those who rarely consumed it. The same study confirmed that other fruits like apples, pears, berries, and raisins had the opposite effect, significantly reducing hypertension risk by 8 to 9% when consumed regularly. But why would cantaloupe, with its impressive nutritional profile, actually increase blood pressure risk? While researchers are still investigating the precise mechanism, several theories have emerged. One possibility involves cantaloupe's glycemic index, a measure of how quickly a food raises your blood sugar. Despite having a relatively moderate glycemic index of around 65, cantaloupes can cause significant blood sugar spikes in some individuals, particularly when consumed in large quantities or on an empty stomach. These blood sugar fluctuations can trigger inflammation in your blood vessels, contributing to arterial stiffness and eventual hypertension. Another theory points to cantaloupe's unique sugar composition. Unlike some other fruits that contain higher levels of health-promoting phytochemicals that may offset the effects of natural sugars, cantaloupes may not provide enough of these protective compounds relative to their sugar content. The specific combination of sugars in cantaloupe might affect certain metabolic pathways that ultimately influence blood pressure regulation. It's also worth considering individual variations in how we metabolize different fruits. Your genetic makeup, gut microbiome composition, and existing health conditions can all influence how your body processes cantaloupe's nutrients and sugars. What causes a problematic reaction in one person might be perfectly fine for another, which is why personalized nutrition is becoming increasingly important in healthcare.
I want to be absolutely clear here. I'm not suggesting that everyone should completely eliminate cantaloupe from their diet. Nutrition is never one size fits all, and this fruit does provide valuable nutrients. However, if you're among the nearly 50% of Americans with hypertension or pre-hypertension, you might want to reconsider making cantaloupe a regular part of your fruit intake, especially if you consume it frequently. Instead, consider focusing on fruits that have been consistently shown to reduce blood pressure in multiple studies. Berries, particularly blueberries and strawberries, are rich in anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that help dilate blood vessels and improve blood flow. Bananas and avocados provide ample potassium without the potential downsides of cantaloupe. Apples contain quercetin, which helps reduce inflammation in blood vessels and may prevent the formation of plaque in your arteries. But managing hypertension goes far beyond just swapping one fruit for another. A comprehensive approach includes understanding the many factors that influence your blood pressure, some of which might surprise you. For instance, did you know that poor sleep quality can significantly raise your blood pressure? Or that certain common medications, including over-the-counter pain relievers and decongestants, can cause temporary spikes in blood pressure that compound over time? Stress management is another crucial element that's often overlooked. When you're stressed, your body produces hormones that temporarily narrow your blood vessels and increase your heart rate. Chronic stress keeps your body in this heightened state, eventually leading to blood vessel damage and sustained hypertension. Simple practices like deep breathing exercises, meditation, or even just taking 5 minutes of quiet time each day can help mitigate these effects. Your gut health also plays a surprisingly important role in blood pressure regulation. Emerging research suggests that certain gut bacteria help produce compounds that relax blood vessels, while an imbalanced microbiome may contribute to hypertension. Probiotic-rich foods like yogurt, kefir, and fermented vegetables support a healthy gut ecosystem, potentially offering another natural avenue for blood pressure control.
Then there's the often ignored factor of proper hydration. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes more concentrated and your body compensates by retaining sodium, which drives blood pressure up. Simply drinking adequate water throughout the day, aim for at least 8 8-ounce glasses, can make a meaningful difference in your numbers. What about exercise? While we all know it's beneficial for heart health, not all forms of physical activity affect blood pressure equally. Surprisingly, isometric exercises, those that involve muscle tension without movement, like wall sits or planks, have shown some of the most dramatic blood pressure lowering effects in recent studies. Just 10 to 15 minutes of isometric exercise several times a week could reduce your systolic pressure by 8 to 10 points, comparable to what some medications achieve. I also want to address a common misconception about salt. While reducing sodium intake is important, increasing potassium consumption may be equally beneficial. Potassium helps your body excrete excess sodium and relaxes blood vessel walls. Beyond the commonly recommended bananas, foods like sweet potatoes, spinach, beans, and yogurt are excellent potassium sources that can help counterbalance sodium's effects. As we approach the halfway point of our discussion, I want to emphasize that managing hypertension effectively requires a personalized approach. What works for one person may not work for another, which is why it's so important to work with healthcare providers who take the time to understand your unique situation. And remember, small, consistent changes often yield better results than dramatic short-term measures that are difficult to maintain. I want to take a moment now to ask you something important. When was the last time you really evaluated how your diet might be affecting your blood pressure? Beyond just following general guidelines, have you noticed any patterns between what you eat and how you feel? Have you ever kept a food journal alongside blood pressure readings to identify personal triggers? The insights you gain from this kind of self-observation can be invaluable. If you're finding this information helpful, please consider hitting that like button and sharing this video with friends or family members who might be struggling with blood pressure issues. Your simple share could be the turning point in someone else's health journey. And I'd love to hear in the comments if you've been regularly consuming cantaloupe without realizing its potential effects on blood pressure.
Now let's dig deeper into understanding why the cantaloupe findings are so significant. This isn't just about one fruit. It highlights a broader principle that's revolutionizing our approach to nutrition and health: bio-individuality. We're moving away from one-size-fits-all dietary recommendations toward a more nuanced understanding that recognizes how each person's body responds differently to various foods. What makes the cantaloupe research particularly noteworthy is that it came from one of the most comprehensive and respected health studies ever conducted. The combined data from the 3 cohort studies provided researchers with an enormous sample size and lengthy follow-up period, lending substantial credibility to their findings. This wasn't a small, short-term study. It was a decades-long investigation involving nearly 190,000 participants whose health outcomes were meticulously tracked over time. The research specifically found that consuming cantaloupe 4 or more times per week was associated with a 7% increased risk of developing hypertension compared to eating it less than once a month. To put this in perspective, a 7% increased risk means that for every 100 people who would normally develop high blood pressure, an additional 7 would develop it if they were regular cantaloupe consumers. While this might not sound dramatic, when applied to the entire population, it could mean hundreds of thousands of additional hypertension cases potentially linked to regular cantaloupe consumption. Contrast this with the findings on apples and pears, which were associated with a 9% decreased risk of hypertension when consumed at similar frequencies. The difference between choosing cantaloupe versus apples as your regular fruit could potentially represent a 16% swing in your hypertension risk, a meaningful difference that could affect your long-term cardiovascular health. What's particularly fascinating is that other melons don't seem to share cantaloupe's blood pressure-raising effects. Watermelon, for instance, contains L-citrulline, an amino acid that your body converts to L-arginine, which helps produce nitric oxide, a powerful vasodilator that relaxes blood vessels. Studies have consistently shown watermelon's benefits for blood pressure reduction, creating an interesting contrast with its melon cousin. Beyond just avoiding cantaloupe, there are numerous positive dietary changes you can make to actively lower your blood pressure. The DASH diet, Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, has been extensively studied and proven effective, reducing systolic blood pressure by an average of 8 to 14 points in clinical trials. This eating pattern emphasizes fruits, particularly those shown to lower blood pressure, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and low-fat dairy, while limiting saturated fats and added sugars.
Specific foods with notable blood pressure-lowering effects include beets, rich in nitrates that convert to nitric oxide, dark chocolate containing flavonols that improve blood vessel function, garlic with compounds that enhance blood vessel elasticity, and fatty fish like salmon, providing omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation and blood vessel constriction. Incorporating these foods regularly can complement other lifestyle modifications in your hypertension management strategy. It's also worth discussing how cooking methods affect the cardiovascular impact of your food. Grilling, frying, and smoking can create advanced glycation end products, AGEs, compounds that promote inflammation and oxidative stress, potentially contributing to blood vessel damage over time. Gentler cooking methods like steaming, poaching, and sautéing at lower temperatures tend to be more heart-friendly options. Timing of meals may influence blood pressure as well. Some research suggests that intermittent fasting approaches or simply avoiding large meals late in the evening might help regulate blood pressure by giving your cardiovascular system a chance to rest and recover during fasting periods. While more studies are needed, this represents another potential tool in your blood pressure management toolkit. As we consider all these factors, it becomes clear that managing hypertension effectively requires a comprehensive, personalized approach that goes far beyond just avoiding cantaloupe or reducing salt intake. It involves understanding the complex interplay between your unique genetic makeup, dietary choices, physical activity, stress levels, sleep quality, and numerous other lifestyle factors. This brings me to an important point. While self-education and lifestyle modifications are powerful tools, they should complement rather than replace proper medical care. Regular blood pressure monitoring, whether at home or through healthcare provider visits, remains essential for tracking your progress and making informed adjustments to your management plan. And if you're currently taking blood pressure medications, never adjust or discontinue them without consulting your healthcare provider. As we approach the conclusion of our discussion, I want to acknowledge that making dietary and lifestyle changes can feel overwhelming, especially when you're already dealing with the stress of managing a chronic condition like hypertension. Remember that you don't need to transform everything overnight. Small, sustainable changes implemented consistently over time typically yield better results than drastic overhauls that prove difficult to maintain. Perhaps start by simply tracking your cantaloupe consumption alongside your blood pressure readings to see if you notice any patterns. Consider gradually increasing your intake of proven blood pressure-friendly foods while moderately reducing those that may contribute to hypertension. Focus on adding one new stress reduction practice to your routine, or commit to slightly increasing your physical activity each week.
The journey to optimal blood pressure control is a marathon, not a sprint.
Each positive choice you make builds upon the previous ones, creating momentum toward better health. And remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. Beyond working with healthcare providers, consider connecting with support groups, either in your community or online, where you can share experiences and strategies with others facing similar challenges. If you've stayed with me until now, I want to sincerely thank you for your time and attention. Managing hypertension effectively could literally add years to your life and significantly improve its quality. The information I've shared today about cantaloupe and other factors affecting blood pressure represents just one piece of the complex puzzle of cardiovascular health, but it's my hope that it provides valuable insight for your personal health journey. I encourage you to approach this information with both an open mind and a critical eye. While the research on cantaloupe and hypertension comes from reputable sources, our understanding of nutrition and health is constantly evolving. What seems true today may be refined or even reversed as we gather more data and develop better research methods. This is the nature of science, always advancing, always improving. If you found value in this discussion, please consider supporting our mission to bring evidence-based health information to a wider audience by subscribing to this channel, sharing this video with others who might benefit, and engaging in the comments section below. Your participation helps create a community of people committed to taking control of their health through knowledge and informed action. Finally, I want to leave you with this empowering thought. While hypertension is indeed a serious condition that requires attention and management, it's also one of the most modifiable cardiovascular risk factors. The choices you make each day, including which fruits you regularly consume, have real and meaningful effects on your blood pressure and overall heart health. You have more power than you might realize to influence your health trajectory. Thank you for joining me today in this exploration of how cantaloupe and other factors affect your blood pressure. Remember that your heart works tirelessly every moment of every day to keep you alive and well. The care and attention you give to your cardiovascular health is perhaps the most valuable investment you can make in your future well-being. I look forward to continuing this conversation in the comments section and in future videos, where we'll explore other aspects of natural health optimization. Until next time, here's to your heart health and to making informed choices that support your body's incredible capacity for healing and resilience. If you've made it this far, you clearly care deeply about your health and the health of your loved ones. That commitment deserves recognition and support. Our channel exists specifically to provide evidence-based information that empowers you to make better health decisions. Information that sometimes contradicts conventional wisdom but is always grounded in serious scientific research. Each week, we share new discoveries about natural approaches to managing chronic conditions, explore the latest nutritional science, and answer the questions that mainstream healthcare often doesn't have time to address during brief office visits. If you subscribe and activate notifications, you'll never miss these potentially life-changing insights. You'll become part of a community of health-conscious individuals who believe in taking an active role in their well-being. I don't promise miracle cures or quick fixes. What I offer instead is thoughtful analysis of complex health topics broken down into practical advice you can actually use. Whether you're currently managing hypertension or simply want to prevent it, the information we share could make a significant difference in your quality of life for years to come. Remember, your heart works every second of every day without rest. Giving it the support it deserves through informed dietary and lifestyle choices is one of the greatest acts of self-care possible. Let's continue this journey of health optimization together, one evidence-based step at a time. I look forward to seeing you in our next discussion.